Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be recapping my recent over the board tournament, which the day that this is coming out, it will have been a week after. I haven't really taken a look at these games in depth, so this will be kind of like me showing you what I play, but also kind of trying to analyze it in a way. But I don't want the video to be too long because we have 4 games to look at. So, first off, the tournament was just a one-day tournament. The time control is 55 minutes plus 5 seconds. And there's 4 rounds, one day. I'm going to tell you right now, playing 4 games of that time control in one day is way too much. Like, you're going to see it in the gameplay, but after the second game, I'm not going to lie, I was exhausted. And at that point, I kind of, like, you can see it in my chest. It goes, whoop. I think my cap on what I want to do is play like 2 long games in a day. I don't want to be playing 4, especially where I'm not playing in like my own hometown. So I'm always traveling to go to tournaments. So this was like 3 hours away from my hometown. Yes, I stayed in a hotel, but I had to drive after the games. So I got there around 9 a.m. The first round didn't start until like quarter to 10. And I think I started leaving to go home around 8 p.m. Like, oh my gosh, too much. Anyways, enough yapping. That's the time format. And for anybody wondering what my CFC is, it's currently 1650. And we will be taking a look at that after the fact to see how much I gained or lost during this tournament. So, starting out, we have the black pieces against Samuel. And I'm probably going to pronounce some of these names wrong because it's a French area, so there's probably like a French accent to the names. But anyways, we're going to call Mr. Samuel. Yes, it's not Samuel. Yeah, we're going to call him Sam. Sam played e4, and I didn't really know what his rating or anything like that was before the game, but yeah, c4. I play e5, and we're going to have just a typical Grand Prix setup, like a reverse Grand Prix. And he played knight f3. This is not typically what I'm used to seeing, like, immediately. But nothing wrong with it. I just play f5, and he struck in the center right away. So this was kind of the first moment where I was like, well, I can push the pawn. Obviously, taking here is probably not good, right? Like, and if you can kick a knight, it's typically the best move. So my first instinct was e4, but I just wanted to make sure before playing anything, because they could maybe play like, I don't know, some d5 counterattack, takes. But I wasn't really too concerned about that. Like here, I think we just have some kind of advantage after like FG. If bishop here, we can probably take with the pawn. And even if they trade queens, we're just up a pawn. So I wasn't really concerned at all. And as it just got spoiled, I did play e4. And my opponent went backwards. So he played knight d2. And I thought this was a little bit passive, but now, you know, just simple development, knight f6. And we're trying to get our bishop out in castle, play like d6 at some moment. Opponent just plays e3, opening up their bishop. But now this bishop is very, very ugly. And yeah, my opponent definitely will feel that later on. So I play bishop b4, just threatening to double pawns. So queen b3. Also just probably trying to occupy this diagonal, but now I need to take, because I put the bishop there. It's obviously to take. I could also protect, but I figured let's just take. He brought the queen out to protect, so he didn't have to double his pawns. and then we can castle. But before castling, I wanted to like imagine castles and then the opponent plays d5. That feels very uncomfortable. I can't go knight to e5 because then the queen would see it. So when I saw the queen move here, my two candidate moves were castles and d5. And I ended up playing d5, which is the best move, because I didn't want to allow the opponent to play d5 themselves. And after here, my opponent just decided to castle. And now, or not castle, sorry, play bishop e2, and then I castled, and they castled. Now, we've come out of the opening. We don't have a super big advantage, but we've equalized. We have a familiar position. There's a little bit of pressure on my center, but I mean, I've got plenty of protection here. The only thing that's a little bit awkward, I would say, is this knight, because typically you want to be able to mobilize your c pawn alongside your d pawn, and you know, this could potentially become a target. They could start targeting this, making it hard to bring in my bishop. And I'm not getting my traditional like queen e8 followed by like queen h5 attacking ideas. It's more of a slow position where we have a little bit more space in the center. And yeah, so I play bishop e6 because I want to develop my pieces and also just support my center. I wasn't quite ready to play f4 here, so I needed to make a move, and I figured we haven't developed our bishop, let's develop our bishop. So I played there, and then they played queen to b3, attacking my pawn. I mean, we can't allow them to really just take this, I don't think. Apparently, the computer is saying that we can play queen d7. That's the best move, but rook b8 is the second best. I played b6, just protecting the pawn, and maybe potentially playing c5 in the future. This allows the opponent to go back. That's the best move. I didn't think my opponent was going to play that, nor did I think that was even a move. My opponent took the pawn in the center of the board, which is a mistake. And we have 3 different ways of capturing. My first thought process is we take pawn with tempo on queen. Very good. Bishop here, if bishop here, we're totally fine. We're protected. So I wasn't too concerned. Knight takes, I was a little bit concerned about bishop c4 here. Just pinning the knight to the bishop here, which is not protected. So I was a little bit concerned about taking with the knight. However, knight takes is the best move. But why? Like, if they play here, what is the move? I think we can play knight a5. No. Rook f6. Okay, so it wants us to protect and start bringing our rook to attack. Can we play here? No. Right? Yeah, we can. Queen c2, I guess. And then, I mean, if you take, it's totally... It's playable. It's fine. But okay. In this position, I decided to just take with the bishop, attacking their queen. Opponent did not play this. They just slid the queen back. And, I mean, here's where it starts to go into my favor. And I have a nice idea here, which I did play in the game. Although I don't think I totally played it correctly. But I played f4. Because all of my pieces are starting to, go towards the king. We have central space, and I wanted to start breaking this open. So technically, yes, I'm sacrificing a pawn here, and I don't completely remember what my follow-up was going to be, if I'm being totally honest. Oh, right. I'm sorry. Yes, of course, I saw that if pawn takes, there's knight d4. That was pretty much the whole idea behind this. But the other idea is that I want to play f3 with all these pieces trying to open up their king. Silly me. Yes, I saw this during the game, and that's why f4 was possible. Opponent did not like that I was going to be able to play f3 with tempo and the bishop and this pawn, trying to open up their king. So the opponent started to try to trade pieces. So bishop c4, and I play f3 anyways because that was the whole idea. Now, I mean, they totally can take here. I'm pretty sure, and I'm pinned, right? So, but it's a little bit dangerous. Now, queen d7, try to come in here for checks, all this good stuff, you know. And then if they ever trade, we're gonna have a nice attack. We're down a pawn, but we're gonna have a nice attack. 95 here is the best move. Probably takes, check. King h1 is forced, and then, I mean, queen f3, king here, and we can probably start to try and rook lift or something. I would have tried to figure it out, hopefully, but instead, we played this, bishop takes, and my opponent is just forcing a queen trade. But after takes, I mean, if anybody has an advantage here, it's definitely black. This bishop is bad. We have some pressure on their king side, and yes, the queens are off the board, so probably not going to be, you know, checkmating attack, but yeah, we played knight b4 here. I'm looking to potentially attack the rook, but also I'm looking at this juicy d3 square, and also just opening up the pawn to build a move. And then here, the opponent finally takes, I take back, and yeah, knight d2 was played. So they're attacking the pawn. The pawn is a little bit weak. I didn't like that. So we protected it using our knight going to the edge of the board. The best move is to go towards the center, or wait, knight d3. Oh, the best move is actually to sacrifice the pawn and then play knight e3 or knight e4. Knight here. Takes. Wait, no, not takes. It is playable, but taking on this square. Ah, because we got so much pressure. Okay. But yeah, we didn't do that. My opponent instead played e4. So after knight back, I played knight h5, and the opponent played e4 here. And in this moment, I was like, oh, I'm winning. Knight c2. We hit the rook, we hit the pawn. Now, of course, they can play like this, give up the pawn rather than the exchange. But, I mean, if they give up the two central pawns there, a huge part of their advantage is gone. We're going to have a very, very nice outpost, potentially. This pawn's going to be a target. Their king is cut off. Like, it's not good. So, instead, the opponent actually played knight b3 here, protecting the rook, and after takes, we're up in exchange. So I place my knight on f4 because I'm happy if they take. I'm happy for trades now. But I do have this problem with this pawn coming down the board. So, I mean, it's kind of scary. And even though I'm up in exchange, I'm still very, 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 very worried. And I had to remind myself during the game. I remember talking to myself, being like, look, you're up in exchange. You're a good chess player. You're going to stop the threats. You're completely winning. You don't have anything to worry about. Opponent played bishop to e3. I jumped in with the knight, and now we're trying to rook lift. They're bringing out their knights. What I was concerned about was like potentially losing this pawn, but I thought maybe if I can get both of my rooks somehow like on this file, I can sack, well, not sack, but trade a rook and then checkmate. It's too slow. And then I played rook d8, and my heart sank a little bit after I saw this move, bishop to g5. I was like, oh, I'm doing what I always do. I'm throwing the game. But I have such a dominant position that no, we're not throwing the game at all. You can give up the exchange for that pawn, and you're totally fine. Now, I took the pawn because obviously I take back, and then if they take, I trade. It's fine. We have got pressure on this pawn. If they protect, their king's cut off. We have our king's faster, etc. Blah, 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 blah. They play rook d1, which I saw, and I just protect the knight. So that's exactly what I do, and opponent just takes the rook, take back, and they trade. And this is just completely lost because if they trade rooks, my pawn promotes, takes, king here, push, here, here. And these two squares are cut off. So that is why I captured back with the rook. They went here, and I just stepped up with the king. They moved the rook. And now what I needed to calculate in this position is, can I give a check, block, and just trade? And the answer is yes, because their king is so confined that after they take back, they have to play 1, 2, 3 moves to even just get out, or they have to invest pawn moves here and come this way. So that's exactly what happens. And after king up, they push the pawn. I play king to e5. I'm just going to move through this pretty quickly because there's not really a whole lot to analyze here. I mean, I just win the pawn. I'm up 2 pawns, king here, and I just try not to give my opponent anything. So I played f5, just making sure that they can't really come forward, or just another waiting move, kind of. Same thing with h5. I play b5 first, because if they go here, then I can play a5, and 3 versus 2, we just make a pass pawn. None of their pawns will build a move. So after king here, I'm not letting their king walk in. I play h6, and they've got nothing but to just let me create a pass pawn, and my opponent resigns. And we got the dub. So let's take a look at the game review real quick. I played the game with a 92.4, and the opponent played with an 82.3. It was pretty equal, like the entire game, basically. Oh. Not the entire game, sorry. Up until right around here. This is kind of where it started to slope into my favor, slightly. After queen to b3. Once again, I should have took with the knight there, but we found that key idea. And I don't think there's any real big key moments other than them blundering this fork. And then, of course, I gave some advantage back with the skewer, but it's totally winning. Now, it'd be a different story if we didn't have this pawn to c5 move. And this kind of just goes to show, like, I kind of let up a little bit. And I shouldn't have let up at all. Yeah. I mean, missing the skewer was bad. Because I missed it. I wasn't like, oh, I'm still winning. I'm still winning after they take the exchange back. Extra pawn, we more active. No. No, my heart literally sank when I saw bishop to g5 played. And then I got thinking about it. I was like, I'm still just completely crushing. But had we not been able to play c5, it would have been losing, because after bishop here, they would just, not take, sorry. They would take the rook, take, and then they have takes, and they would have been up a piece. So, luckily we had to move c5. And then, yeah, I mean, it was pretty straightforward from here, like, very, very simple. So let's go on to game 2. So, game 2. Felipe, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. Anyways, this was by far my most favorite game, and I think the game that I played the best in the tournament. So now we're 1 out of 1, and this guy's the guy Samuel's rating was around 1550 CFC, I think. This guy's rating is 1850 CFC. So he's a strong player. He's got 200 points on me. I'm the underdog, and I'm gonna fight. He shows up, he plays e4, and of course, we hit him with the Cairo Khan, right? And now I'm feeling good in this game. Keep in mind, I think mindset is so important when it comes to chess, because after like winning, you're just like, yes. But if you lose badly, it just changes it so much, especially like if you're tired too. Like, I don't know. D4, D5. They brought the knight out, and I was like, is he gonna alien Gambit me? Because knight here is typically what the alien Gambiters will do. just, I don't know. People who play the Tartakower usually play knight c3. My opponent did not alien Gambit me over the board. They played a Tartakower. However, after takes, they played h3. This is a slow move, and it kind of indicates that they don't want the bishop to come here. So they didn't want the traditional, like, Tartakower structure and position. But it doesn't really change a whole lot in my plans. And I was playing very, very quick here, because I know this position quite good. Bishop e2. And I know from watching Alex Banzea's Caro Khan speed run course, not course, but speed runs, whenever they play like h3, he's like, don't be worried, put the bishop on e6, and sacrifices might be like possible. So what did I do? I put the bishop on e6, and my opponent's kind of going very, very passive here with their bishops. They're not really, I don't know, not going active. Well, you can't really go anywhere out here. Well, no, the bishop would go this way, you dummy. Can't really develop, I guess. So this makes sense. But this bishop move, same thing, I guess. It's really the only way to develop. Anyways, I play rook e8, castles, knight d7. Obviously, if you guys are familiar with the Tartakower, knight d7, knight f8, no mates. Although I was contemplating in this position, rather than knight d7, I was thinking about playing knight a6 with the idea of going knight c7 and knight d5. That is another idea of the Tartakower. Knight a6, and I mean, obviously, if they take, it's fine. It's not anything crazy, but you get the bishop, and yeah. But I decided to go for this kind of setup, and after c4, I play queen d7, and now it's pretty clear, like, white has a good position. They've got their pieces developed here. They have nice central control. But everything in my position is pointing towards the black or the white king, right? So I'm waiting for a moment to sacrifice my bishop here, basically. The opponent played bishop c3, and I mean, they're just putting it on a better square, better diagonal potentially, maybe trying to push, just protecting the pawn as well. So first, instead of like being eager and being like, I sacrifice bishop, I get attack, blah, 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 no. I was like knight f6 or knight g6, and potentially after takes, we might have some knight to h4 ideas with threatening checkmate and also trying to remove the knight from protecting the h2 pawn or square with like bishop here, and some checkmating ideas. The opponent plays bishop f1, which is a great move because they saw my whole idea of sacrificing the bishop here. Bishop f1 is actually the only move that doesn't give black an advantage. Every other move, like if you play bishop d3, it's it's minus 0.5 for black. So you pretty much have to play this. And then I played bishop c7. So I'm just getting out of any attacks here. And I'm also just maybe preparing to go here, but that's definitely not what I'm obviously trying to set this move up. Opponent played queen c2, and I tempoed the bishop, or I tempoed the queen, and after queen to d3, after bishop to d3, sorry, are you really going to take this? Are you really going to trade that bishop? No. No. You're going to play exactly what your position has been set up for, and you're going to sacrifice the bishop. And that's exactly what I did. And the opponent did not take the bishop back. They played bishop takes g6 intermezzo. Now, I want you to pause the video here and try to figure out what the best move is, because there's only one winning continuation, and I'll give you a hint. I didn't play it, but I played a very natural looking move here. I played queen to g4 with the idea that we're threatening checkmate, and after they play g3, the knight hangs, the bishop hangs, and yeah, I mean, you're going to have a hard time here, in my opinion. However, after g3, bishop or queen takes on f3, they can save the bishop, attacking the queen and protecting against checkmate. And there is no rook sack because queen takes, the checkmate is stopped. So I was like, shoot. Anyways, queen g4, they took the pawn with check. You have to move the king. Going here doesn't feel right. So, I mean, obviously king h8. And now the opponent plays g3. So they stop the checkmate threat. They have only one move, and it's knight h4, which is insane. Knight h4 sacrificing because then this is not pinned, and it's also just protecting. But as you saw, opponent played g3. Now, how you see the eval? How do you win here? Well, in this position, you have to realize that what your position is set up for. And I was obviously setting up a huge attack on the king, but like we have so many moves that we can consider here. Like, why not just take the free knight? Well, if you take the free knight, they're just going to save their bishop and you're down a piece. Because let's not forget, I'm down a piece at the moment. So I have to go for the attack. And that's why I played bishop takes g3. And after bishop g3, we're threatening to just move the bishop and checkmate. So they take, which opens up the queen's vision. So after takes, there is no checkmate. And at this moment, my mindset kind of started switching to, oh shoot, I'm playing for a draw. And that's not a good mindset to have, especially when you're attacking. However, we're actually crushing. My whole idea behind the attack is totally winning. So we take the pawn with check, obviously. The king only has one square, so they play here. And then we're going to take the knight. And, I mean, if you go here, we're probably just going to repeat the position or something. Like, that was my plan. I thought he was going to go here. I was going to go here, here. And I was fully prepared to just go for a draw here. It's wrong. The king goes to h2. And now this is the critical moment. And this is where a flaw of mine came in. Because my whole idea behind all this was, okay, we're going to open up the king. We're going to attack the king. And if he actually takes on h7, we're just going to trap the bishop, right? We're going to get our material back. But what we have to do in this position is play queen to h5. But can't they just save the bishop? Yeah. We have bishop f5. And the whole point of bishop f5 is not that, yeah, we're attacking this again. It's that when the king moves, we have another check. And when the king moves, we win the bishop back. We get the material. We're up 2 pawns. And their king is not safe. And my king is very, very, very safe. I played g6. And after bishop g6, this is my final chance. But I didn't even consider anything. I played too fast because I was trusting in my calculation of just taking. And I thought I must be winning here. I needed to play rook g8 because if the bishop moves, we have check. I didn't see that, so I took. And after takes, it looks like it's totally playable. It looks like it's fine. It's scary for both spots. I trade. They take back. And I find the only move, bishop to g4 here. Because if you don't play bishop g4, like, there's so many different threats they're threatening to come. Like in here, checks, everything. Check to pick up the bishop, obviously, is what I'm worried about. So we needed to move the bishop, and then another move that I considered was bishop to d7, but queen h6, king g8, and then the rook comes alive here. And that is how I came up with the idea of playing bishop to g6 or g4 here, because after check, king here, there is none of this. So they go check, king here, but they have this anyways. And now the only real move to play here is queen to queen to f5, and then moves. And I mean, I don't really understand what I'm supposed to be doing here. To be totally honest with you, I need to play check. King here. I mean, that allows check though. No, it doesn't, because there's a pin. Maybe we need to just give checks. What if they block? Probably just checks. Or king f7. King f7, does that not just blunder this? Queen f1. Oh, because the other rook comes into the game. Ah, okay. Anyways, as you see on the board, I played king to f7. And this is a fatal mistake, because queen h7, and I thought that I was going to be able to just like run, or if I went here and check, I thought potentially I could run, but no, they have checks and whatnot. So I tried to be sneaky. I was like, okay, if I play king to h8 and they go for the rook, I'll just step up, and like they've always got this threat of checkmate. Just a sample line. This is what I calculated. It's kind of silly. But what I missed was this check. I missed bishop before check. And after I move the king, there's a checkmate. So I resigned in this position. But this was I actually had so much fun with this game. And I felt like I played really good. I just missed that one critical idea here of attacking. I mean, it's kind of hard to see from this position. And I did slightly consider queen h5, but I thought that they moved the bishop. I moved the bishop. There's no real good discovery attack. And that was kind of like my thought process behind it. It's very flawed. I thought, oh, we just don't have anything. King moves and there's nothing here. But I needed to calculate further. We have check to pick this back up. And that was my fatal mistake in this game. We had a great attacking game, and I had a lot of fun. My opponent and I talked a little bit after the game too, and he had a lot of fun in this game too. Obviously, he was scared during the game, and he thought that there might have been some perpetual. But I analyzed it in my car afterwards, and I went and told him. I was like, yeah, I had this idea of like, instead of playing g6 to bring the queen back and then discover check and blah, 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 blah. And it was fun. But I used up so much energy during this game, and it made me exhausted. Now, as for the game review, my opponent played with a 90.4, and I played with a 76.4 with two brilliant moves. Obviously, you saw those. It was equal, like the entire game, and then I was winning until I blundered. Like basically, it didn't go into white's favor until I played king f7. Like before that, it was either in my favor or equal, and then it was just blundering here. But once again, awesome game. Now let's go to the next. So now this is round 3. We're starting this round around 3 p.m. like I mentioned at the start. So we started a little bit before 10. So we're about 5 hours into the day, and I'm exhausted. I'm not looking forward to my couple hours of driving after work or after the tournaments, and Yeah, I mean, it starts to show. You'll see what I mean. So Harold is my opponent, and I finally have the white pieces. I started off with the black pieces for the first two games, and now we're the white pieces. And of course, I play e4. Harold is a 2100 rated CFC player. I didn't know this at the time. I know this after looking at it, and it kind of makes a lot of sense of the play. Played the French defense, and I'm not gonna lie, I played this because, or I played like I did because I was so bored. I'm gonna run through this game very, very quickly because it's the most boring game of the tournament. We have a French defense, Taraj. I played c3, protecting the central pawn. He played b6, obviously to fianchetto, castled, and then I just took, brought my bishop out. He castled. I brought my queen up because I wanted to take and try to trade their bishop. So, I mean, that was the idea behind queen e2. So after h6, I wasn't going to go back. I took and then played bishop to e4. And he protected because he wanted me to take. So I just brought my rook, tooks, and then he played c5. And black has a slight advantage here. I just brought my rook, and then I finally took. And now we'll slow down a little bit. We have this very kind of dryish position, to be honest. And I kind of figured, like, from this moment, I kind of thought that I was just going to lose, which is just such a bad mindset to have. But I was tired, and I was like, endgame's not my thing. Very boring position. I don't really want to play this. And then I was like, okay, queen b7. I'm threatening. They can't take, right? Because check. But then they go queen a5. They attack my pawn, so I need to just protect it. And then they're just being annoying. They're you know, these subtle little movements just to put a little bit more pressure. So I finally take, and then I make a luft because I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into some trouble, but g3 is just not really that great. And then they play queen a5. I brought the queen back. Rook comes in, and I want a queen trade. Honestly, I just want to kill the position, and I just wanted to draw the game. Queen goes back, and then I played c5, c4. I was like, get out. And then I wanted to play this move so bad. I wanted to play knight e5, attacking, and I thought I could, but it actually is just not good. I thought that they had takes, and then some cutting me off ideas. Or, sorry, after takes, I thought there was stuff like this. Check, yeah, which I'm correct. But rather, after a little bit of thought there, I didn't play that. I went for b3, just protecting the pawn, getting out of any attacks here. And then they slid their bishop or their queen back, attacking my knights. And I was like, oh, I'm into some trouble. I can't really just walk into a pin, because then there's this. So I played knight h4, which I knew was such a bad move, but I was like, whatever, double my pawns. And then they played rook d4, and yeah, I'm losing the pawn, and it's just bad. I don't even want to show this game. Now here, I was like, okay, check, king up, I'll pin your rook so there's no checkmate. And then they played f5, and I was like, oh, okay, rook here, give me a trade. They say no, and I'm like, okay, king f1, come give me this check. I knew I was already lost, so I allowed the check, brought the king up, and then they brought the rook in. I was like, okay, I protect the check, took the pawn, and then I just start pushing the pawns. You know it's bad when you start pushing b4 when they have this over here. It's just totally lost. They push the pawn, and one thing that I was constantly looking for, I think, yeah, in like these kinds of positions, I was like, maybe check, and just like, you know, checks, you know, maybe. No, it didn't happen. I ran, and I brought the rook back, and I was like, okay, trade up. I'm down so much material. that this would be totally losing. No, because I have a pass pawn. Never mind. I take that back. Anyways, they gave a check, king up, check, and I resign because after that, they just win my queen. And this was by far the worst game of the tournament. But yeah, it's fine. I was exhausted, so I wasn't too hard on myself. And I had a lot of fun this tournament, but like I mentioned at the start, I think I need to not play tournaments where there's 4 games in one day. It's too much. It's too much for me. Because plus the travel, like, no. I think 2 games is good. 2 games is where I can like really play and really focus. But we got one more game, so I'll show you it. Game 4 up against Matthew. French. And yes, that's definitely spelled wrong. Matthew. Now, I have the white pieces again because I had the first 2 games as black. I play e4 and I saw c6. And I was so happy. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play the von Hennig. But it was dark out when I was playing this game, so I was like, okay, I just want a quick win. Give me a quick win. Or like, I don't know, I was happy with getting a quick draw too, to be honest with you, but yeah, that's not what happened at all. However, I will say I played like so fast this game. I think when we ended the game, my opponent had like 10 minutes on the clock and I had like 35. And it's 55 plus 5. Like I wasn't thinking at all. I was kind of just playing on intuition here. But d4, d5, knight c3, and you know, I'm a Caro-Con player. He was probably just expecting some tarts coward business. Nope. Bishop c4, and my opponent started thinking. They were like, what is this fool doing? Yeah. It's kind of silly to play the von Hennig over the board because it's not a good opening. But I was like, all right, we're doing it. I have so much fun in playing this opening. We got knight f6, and I played f3. And keep in mind, I'm blitzing these out because I'm just like, I want to get out of here. And also, I'm like, I know this position. Opponent played b5. I was really hoping that they were going to play like an actual von Hennig. But okay. I mean, this is also a von Hennig, but it's annoying. So they attacked my bishop, and then they played e6. I brought my bishop out, and then I took in the center, castles, and I played e5. And from this position, I was kind of like, okay, I have very good control of the center. There's some holes that I can potentially access, like knight here. I was like, okay, I've got a pretty good position. Knight came there. I took their bishop, and then I developed. They played a6. Apparently, in this position, they can take and then take, and this is good for them. But okay, whatever. It doesn't even matter. I went to the center. And then I played c3. Knight developed, and I brought my bishop back because I was like, okay, I'm gonna checkmate my opponent. And they played c5. So I brought my queen up. They can go here, but I was like, okay, I'll just move. They can't play here. I was like, I'm threatening all kinds of stuff, like move, threatening checkmate. Like I was threatening knight d6 here to pick up the bishop, because they would have to deal with this threat. Also, if the knight ever moved, there was threats of like, let's just say a position like this. I think I have check. Yeah, I was looking at check here, because if they take, I have takes attacking the queen and threatening checkmate. So that is kind of like where my mindset was. But okay, they jumped in. They attacked the queen there. And I was like, okay, I just slid back. And then they took here. And I was like, wait, isn't that a blunder? It's not. I was what I first thought I was takes. I attacked rook. I attacked Knight, I'm completely winning. Nope, you dummy. They just go back. And then I was like, okay, it's not gonna be so simple. I castled. They brought the rook, and then I jumped in. I was like, I want to attack your king. You kick me away. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll probably jump in. Like, I wasn't thinking. I literally wasn't thinking. It was very bad play. Honestly, if I was in the mindset that I was at the start of the tournament and I wasn't so tired, I think I would have won this game. But that's how it goes. So they played G6 here, and I was like, can I sacrifice my bishop? Or my knight? Can I sack the knight and then, like, come checkmate? Blah, 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 blah. No. Like, I was trying to look for tactics here with stuff like this. It just don't work. So I slid the bishop back, and then I brought my rook up, and I think actually this is when I started looking for tactics with like knight takes. By the way, the opponent can just win the game by taking, because after takes, there's rook takes c2. And I definitely didn't see that. I'm going to be totally real with you. Queen takes g5. Neither did my opponent, though. So instead, after bishop back, the opponent just brought their king up. And then once again, they can play c takes d4, but they don't. And then they just kind of protected everything. And we're completely crushing out. But I didn't look at anything. Oh. We're completely crushing here. And yeah. I mean, the move to win, or well, they play rook c, or rook cf8, protecting the pawn, and I was like, oh, dang it, I can't really do anything. We just need to put the knight in the center, which I did. I put it on a great square. We're protecting, or we're attacking. And then they played f6. And I was like, okay, I threatened checkmate. That's what I need to do, and then they'll play here, but then there's nothing. So what I actually have to play here is bishop takes g6. If king takes, we have rook g3, but I just didn't see the follow-up. EF, sacrificing the knight. Queen to d3 is checkmate. I didn't see that because I wasn't looking. I'm gonna be totally real with you. I just like, I didn't see the idea of sacking, and I truly, I'm not just saying this, but I'm capable of seeing like bishop takes g6 ideas with the idea of attacking here. Like I am capable of that. It's pretty in depth. I might not actually see that, but I knew that there were, like, if you try to think of a concrete idea here, like my obviously, I was threatening to play queen d3. That's what I played. I played queen d3 with the idea of checkmating, and I knew that they would play f5, and then I knew that I didn't really have anything. So if you take a step back, like, you can kind of understand the idea of sacrificing the bishop here to open the king up. Obviously, you need to calculate to do that, and I didn't calculate that. I didn't calculate anything. So f5 was played, and then I was like, c4, attack knight, knight moves. And I didn't, like, I played c4, I was like, knight moves. I didn't even calculate where the knight was going to go. I just allowed the knight to come in here, so we got this position. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose or draw the game. And so they took, I played queen d2, and then they jumped the knight in, and I took the pawn. But funny little moment here. So after they took on d4 here, I picked up my queen, and I was like, boom. I took the pawn with the queen. That's how tired I was. And immediately I was like, what am I doing? Like I literally picked up the queen, took the pawn on d4. I was like, oh, me take pawn. That's how tired I was. Just to give a reference. Knight came in, then I took the pawn when I was allowed to. And after the knight jumps in, I was like, this feels pretty bad because like we're gonna win a pawn here. But if takes, I thought maybe they take this first. So I was like, okay, I take free pawn. And then we got AB, and then I took, and then first we traded everything. This is what I went for. I was up a pawn, but I was like, okay, they're gonna just check me, and it's probably a draw. Let's take a step back there. Because it's completely winning. But you don't trade everything. But I was in the mindset of me trade everything, me draw a game, me get home. But we can put pressure on the black position. We can just play rook f6. It's held by the pawn, and if they take, there's a4. Like, this is a move that I'm capable of seeing as well, but I was in the mindset of like, okay, we're gonna just draw the game, or like, I don't want to play, basically. It's not how, like, I need to be I hate that mindset because it's like, I'm investing time into this. I need to put it my all into it. That's how it should be. But it wasn't. I was tired. I wanted to go home. So I was like, me take everything. And yeah, this is what happened. And we agreed to a draw. And it's just a little bit of a shame because I know for a fact that I could have played for more in this game. Maybe I wouldn't have got the win, but I definitely think I'm capable of just like playing more. We had some blunder. Well, we had a blunder. We blundered. It was the moment that I allowed them to take here, and then takes, and then they had to find this rook sack, takes, and then take the knight, so they get 2 pieces for the rook. But they missed that, and then of course, like, I had this attacking idea with the bishop takes some moments, but regardless, it was a fun game, but I wish that I played it when I was fresh, because I'm so much more capable than I am when I'm like exhausted and my head's not in the game. But I guess that's how she goes, right? That was game 4. We drew. So at the end of the tournament, we came out with 1.5 of 4, won 1 game, lost 2, 1 draw. Not our hottest performance, but you know, not too bad for playing in the open. And I was like the second lowest rated in the open. Or no, I think they changed the whole tournament to being an open. Anyways, regardless, like 1650 was my, or 1640 something. Let's take a look. So as you can see on screen here, this was the tournament that I played, and we came 18th out of 28 people, and our rating before the tournament was 1647, and my new rating is 1653, so we gained a total of 6 points. Not really that great. We're still in our provisional because we haven't played all that many over the board tournaments. But we gained 26 from our first game, and then the second game we lost 20. And that was just like, oh man, such a big hit. Like we could have won. We had such a winning. Like realistically, I think if I was no, the second game, I'm not gonna say anything. I lost that game fair and square. If I was like, I lost that because I didn't find the idea. But it was a beautiful game, and I think I'm capable in the future to win games like that. But the last game, I definitely think I could win if I was fresh. Game 3 was a write-off. I lost 4 points because bro is 2100 CFC. He is this guy here. He had a bad tournament too, and he came in 4th. 2167 was his rating when we played. Actually, the highest rated player in the tournament. And then his new rating was 2102. And yeah, although apparently he's in provisional as well. But Samuel down here, 1532, was my first opponent. And then Felipe, round 2, he was 1863 when we played. And I actually apparently came above him. Well, we had the same points. But since I was the lowest rated, who had 1.5, I think. No, never mind, because Simon down here. Anyways, you get the points. Samuel, and then Felipe, and then the Harold guy was round 3. And then where did our round 4 opponent? Right here, Matthew, who is 1539. I guess this is his first tournament. But our performance rating over the tournament was 1675. Not too bad, I guess. Like, for the amount of over the board I play, I won't complain too much. But I feel like my over the board rating could be higher if I played more often. But I don't know. I really don't know if that is something that I want to do. Like, it's so much effort, and I don't think I can invest entire days into playing 4 games in one day. It's too much. It's too much. And then, the 2 or 3 day tournaments are always just like, it's too much of an investment. I have to travel and stay in hotels. So if I'm staying overnight 2 or 3 days, then we're looking at like $800 just to go play in a chess tournament. Like, it's too much. I think it cost me like $400 just for this one, like gas, hotel, food. Like, it's a big investment for me to play in over the board tournaments, and it's not really worth it. So I'll probably still do it every so often, but I mean, I don't know. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.